There we go. So you said you fished, you were from here to Lancaster fishing every day?
Yeah, I lived in Lancaster.
Okay. And I understand when you were younger, you ran with kind of a dangerous crowd.
Yeah, I did.
The Lakewood Rats.
That's right. People used to flinch. It was a good group of people. We were a sandlot football team. At that time, sandlot football was the thing to do on Sunday afternoon, and we would play against the other crowds. The Italian people were the black shirts. That's what they call them, was the black shirts.
Sure.
And all the teams had names, and we'd play until we gave out. And we didn't have any referees or anything. We weren't allowed to have any equipment. So by the time the game was over, we'd just end up in a fight. It was a ever Sunday afternoon sport.
Yeah, this is days before the Cowboys came to town.
That's right.
So now you're growing up. You're running with the Lakewood Rats, and you're having a good time. But you feel the call of duty, and at 16, you try to enlist in the Army.
That's right. I was on a gun team for Woodrow Wilson, and the commandant talked me into going to Palacios and be on the team down there. And in the meantime, he had to leave and left me there, and there wasn't anything for me to do. And so in the middle of between the two, the firing range and the target range, there was a scooped out place, and it was full of snakes. So I caught, and I could sell those snakes in Palacios at that time, and so I had all those snakes, and had a boardwalk that was between the tents, and one day I came back, and they were taking up that wooden ramp, and out came all those snakes, and they made me go through all those tents and find those snakes. and they didn't like that.
I'll bet not. So eventually you work your way into flying. You went through basic primary training, advanced training, and eventually ended up flying an airplane very similar to the one that's right behind us, the P-39.
That's right. Very similar. We had taken on a contingent of people from China, and that were flying in the Chinese Air Force, and they never got the hang of it. and they had to take those. They had to send those pilots back to China, and they gave them to us. We were just out of flight school, and so we took those planes from the Chinese. I don't know exactly what happened to the Chinese, but they never could fly the P-39.
Let's talk a little bit about the unusual configuration of the P-39. Pilot sits up front, and the engine is actually behind you.
That's right. If you look at it, I visualize it as it was designed by a French pilot that was a barnstormer, and it was a gypsy, and that's the kind of plane that he built. If you can look at it, you can see that all the weight is behind the pilot, and the pilot is sitting on the center of gravity. Maneuverability of that plane. The other thing, it was the best, in my opinion. It was the best airplane to fly 50 feet at 50 feet. The German planes were all designed to fly straight down and straight up, and the German pilots were called Yo-Yo boys, because that's what they did. It was the only thing they knew, and they wouldn't engage with you unless they could get on the sun and dive through.
Okay.
It took a long time, but that.
Where are you going?
We had a Messerschmitt that we had captured, and we flew against it. I flew against it and with it, and the P-39 was a better airplane before 50 feet. There was a part of my experience with it. I flew under 50 feet for about a year and a half.
And that's interesting because a lot of what you read about the P-39 talks about it being ground support and things like that, but that really wasn't the role of the airplane. It was really in that 50 feet to 5,000 feet where it was very effective against the Germans.
And the way it's built with the center of gravity here, and you see the wings coming right straight across the middle of the airplane. When you're making turns and dives, it makes a lot of difference in the feel of the airplane. And when you're flying that way, the feel is what you get.
That's right.
The other part of it is the cockpit is forward of the wing. So if you're flying low, where you have to look is right there. If you were, for instance, in a P-51, he's further back, and a Messerschmitt is further back. So they have to look further ahead. It makes a lot of difference if you're flying low like that.
Right. All right, well, right now we're going to have Bill Fear, who is one of our CAF pilots. Bill, if you'd like to jump in and get ready to start if you'd like to jump in and get ready to start. All right.